Hi guys, it's Shannon's Bookish Musings. I thought I'd do something a little different this week. I recently saw on Serche's shelf, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, she did a video where she read some of her own writing, and I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and it was really cool, so I thought, well, maybe I could do that too. So I'm going to read you a chapter from the novella that I wrote in 2013. I should say I published it in 2013. I first published it under a pseudonym, so that's why it says writing as Noelle MacLeod. That's the name I had used at the time for my writing, and have since given it a brand new cover and decided to put my real name on there. It's a psychological horror. Not gory, but definitely in the horror genre. And I don't know, I thought I'd just read the first chapter. Oh, first I want to tell you, the story was based on a couple of nightmares I had about my mother. And I pieced those nightmares together with some inspiration from Stephen King's Carrie. That mother and daughter relationship, and I kind of put that together with the couple of nightmares I was having about my mother, and I came up with Since September. So here's chapter 1. I was 8 years old the night my mother tried to kill me. I remember thinking at the time she'd never go through with it, but way deep inside I knew there was absolutely nothing my mother couldn't or wouldn't do. The previous night, my father's band played at the local dive. He played fiddle in a country band called Rare Gold. It was just a few guys his age and a younger girl who sang and played piano. Mother called her the 20-year-old tartlet with hair like Crystal Gale. She was convinced my father was having an affair with her despite his constant denial. About an hour after he left that night, she told me she was going to the club to see them play. She let me sit on the edge of her bed and watch as she did her makeup, put steamrollers in her golden hair. This was a special treat. Mother never went to see my father play, and she never let me sit on her bed. Wrinkles on a bedspread were a big no-no to my mother. One time I caught my father getting up from a nap and saw him smooth out the bedspread until not a sign of his secret siesta remained. "What's the occasion, Mom?" I asked. "What makes you think there's an occasion?" She put on a mini dress that matched the shade of her petal pink lipstick perfectly, as though they'd come in a set. "I don't know." I watched as she teased her hair, primping in the mirror until it was exactly right. "You just never go see them play." "No occasion," she said, grinning ever so slightly. Sometimes a woman just has to remind a man what he's got waiting for him at home. She dug her metallic silver heels out of the closet and sat next to me on the bed to put them on. She truly was beautiful, and I couldn't imagine my father wanting anyone else, not even a 20-year-old tartlet with hair like Crystal Gale. But when I told her this, she laughed. "Oh, Sheridan," she said, "you don't understand men at all." She stood and checked herself in the mirror one last time, adjusting her hair just a little so that it didn't cover the silver hoops in her ears. "Now I want you in bed by 10, and you are not to open the door for anyone." She grabbed her sequined handbag out of the closet, tossed in her keys, wallet, compact, and lipstick. "You are not to use the stove. If you want a snack, there's cookies." She was moving quickly without pausing to fix any of the wrinkles we'd left on the bed. Out of the bedroom door, down the stairs with me close at her silver heels. "Okay," I said as we rounded the corner, through the den and into the kitchen. I wished I could go with her. I loved seeing my father play. "Oh, I know." Mother turned to me, excitement shimmering in her emerald eyes. "You can have the leftover rice for a snack before bed." I was about to explain to her that rice was not in any way a bedtime snack when I noticed that she was wrapping a big knife in a dish towel. "What are you doing?" "Oh, Sheridan," she snapped, as though I'd just asked the most ridiculous question she'd ever heard. "What's it look like I'm doing?" She carefully placed the wrapped butcher knife into her handbag, kissed me on the forehead, and flew out the door. I stood at the window and watched her back out of the driveway and disappear down the road. I watched TV for a while, ate about 6 Oreos with a glass of milk, and then went to bed. It was 2:20 a.m. when I awoke to the sound of my parents' voices at the foot of the staircase. Mother was yelling, "I swear to God, if you so much as look at that little whore again, I'll cut your balls off." "Just stop with your nonsense, Lori," my father told her, "and keep your voice down. Do you want Sheridan to hear this?" "I don't give a shit who hears it," she bellowed. "You listen to me." My father's voice was steady and firm. "If you ever show your face at another gig of mine, I'll divorce you so fast your head will spin. You got that? I will not have my wife acting like a lunatic while I'm trying to do my job. I am not going to be embarrassed like that again." I heard footsteps as they climbed the stairs. "Well," she spat, "let me tell you something. You divorce me and I'll make sure you never get to see your precious daughter again." He laughed at that. "Jesus, Lori, you're crazier than I thought if you think any judge in the world would give custody to a woman who waves a butcher knife around at a goddamn dance." I could hear my mother sobbing now, her typical response whenever my father was winning a fight. "Here come the waterfalls," he snorted. The next day it was like nothing had happened. My father went about his usual Sunday chores of cutting the grass. Mother cooked the usual Sunday roast, while I did my homework. After supper, my father got ready for the weekly dance at the old folks' home. Rare Gold had played there every Sunday night for as long as I could remember. He left the house at 6:30 sharp, giving my mother a stern look on his way out the door. I helped her clean up the kitchen and we watched television, neither of us saying much, until it was my bedtime. I must have been asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow because the next thing I knew, I was waking to the sound of someone in my room. I opened my eyes and saw Mother standing next to my bed, her solemn face illuminated by the moon. She was clutching one of the big paisley sofa pillows to her chest. My father had always hated those pillows, but Mother absolutely refused to get rid of them. She'd seen some in one of her decorating magazines that were almost identical. "God forgive me," she whispered, lifting the pillow high above her head. "Mom?" I glanced at the clock radio on my nightstand. It was 11:11 p.m. "Please forgive me," she whispered again, and then suddenly brought the pillow down. My mother held that big, ugly maroon and gray paisley pillow over my face with such strength, such determination, until suddenly she lifted it off my head and walked quickly out of my bedroom, closing the door behind her. I heard a car door slam and Mother's footsteps running down the stairs. Dad was home. Gasping for air, my mind whirling, I thanked God my father got home when he did that night. But we'd all have been better off if he hadn't. That's chapter 1. Sorry for my poor reading skills. It's hard to read out loud on camera, especially when it's something that you wrote yourself. So it is hard putting your own writing out there like that, or putting yourself out there. And I've seen some talk lately on some other new YouTubers' channels about how this is kind of forcing yourself out of your comfort zone to do booktube. And it certainly is for those of us who don't like to see ourselves on camera or hear ourselves on camera. So when you add in that you're reading something that you wrote yourself, it's nerve-wracking. So anyway, hope you like that. I can put the link below if you want to check it out. See you next time.